Hi, my name is Denise Hurley, and I welcome you to my show, Journeys. This show, which has been going on for quite some time, a few years now, showcases people who have some interesting backgrounds, hobbies, interests. And today I have a few people here who are from a group called Compassionate Cannabis. And so, hi, Sheila.
Hi, Denise.
Chris
and John.
Yep.
Welcome to my show.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you,
happy for
Denise.
to be here.
Thank you for having us.
So why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us how and when you first discovered cannabis. Who wants to start?
Well,
John.
I'll start right now. Okay. I'm John, and I started smoking cannabis when I was about 15 years old, and a friend of mine got back from college, and he says, "You have to try this."
Mm-hmm.
So we put on a new LP on the record player,
Uh-huh.
and lit up, and I really enjoyed it, and I used it until I got into about 25, and then I had a family, and I stopped smoking for a while, and then I came down with Lyme disease, and I had a lot of side effects from that, and cannabis helped that a lot, and enabled me to work. So I've been smoking it ever since.
Okay.
And I'm Sheila. I have dabbled in it when I was about 17, 18, and I enjoyed it very much as well. But I stopped again, having a family, and I came back to it. I think it was the year before it was legalized in Massachusetts. A friend of a friend gave me a clone and said, try this, try to grow this and see how you do. And I did, and it was surprisingly very, very easy to grow. And I started enjoying it since then, and I've started growing my own right since then, and have enjoyed it for about 4 years.
Wow.
So,
Very good.
And hi, Chris here. And I started like John back, I was probably 14, and it was just the perfect thing. I think of it possibly as self-medicating back then. They didn't have all the ADD medicine, and it just sort of seemed to help.
Yeah.
It really did. And but I too used it quite a bit through the years, and I think I was 25 when I got married, and I stopped completely using anything for many years. And then it's been recently, in the last few years, that I've kind of come back to it, and I'm really am excited about the way it is now and all the benefits that there are. And I particularly have had, I was on Klonopins, and I've been on different ADD medicine and stuff, and they were trying to do all kinds of stuff to make me better. But I just have stopped using all of those and find cannabis is completely taking care of everything that was on the plate, and I'm just like, okay now. So, and I'm really excited about being available for helping people to enter into using this. I know that there's a lot of prejudice against it, and that's another thing that we have talked about, that we are really
very important.
Really hate, when somebody says, well, what has he been smoking? And that's really a fallacy. It's not really like that at all, and there are so many benefits to this plant, and especially as an older person, we want to get away from alcohol if we are people using alcohol, because of how it's, as we're getting older, we want to say.
Well, yeah, alcohol's been proven
Yeah.
to
And
harm us if we have enough of it.
older people.
Yeah, and you know, it's okay to lose a bunch of brain cells when you're like 30. Not really, but you can.
Never really is.
But the thing is, that's what happens, you know, and it's okay. We've been doing. That's how we've been getting through history, pretty much. Alcohol.
With alcohol.
But this is really a good. And what do we use a lot of times alcohol for? Making us feel better, getting the stress out, having a bad day, and then.
Right.
But then, you know, then you get into a fight or whatever happens with
Sure.
alcohol.
Sure. And with cannabis, that is not likely to
Oh
happen.
no,
No.
it's a whole.
You're nicer to people with cannabis, in fact,
Okay.
than you would be.
I think it makes you kind of more thoughtful somehow. I think that's maybe the main benefit of it. You know, people use it for
Yeah, it does
pain.
make you thoughtful.
Use it for pain. Use it for, but it gives you a different outlook on things.
Sure.
It kind of gives you a different perspective. I think it was Michael Palin. I think that guy. If that's the guy.
Michael Pollan.
Pollan. Yeah, he said something about marijuana can change the texture of your consciousness, and it's like a different viewpoint, and it's like things just it's okay. I mean, I recently, well, it's been 8 years now. I was widowed, and it was really, I'm telling you, cannabis really made things better. I mean, I can see the different outlook, and it actually, I mean, even in my prayer life,
Sure.
it has a benefit.
Okay.
So.
All right. All right. How did you guys get together? It's called Compassionate Cannabis Group.
Yeah.
And
Sheila's our big.
so how did you guys get together?
Well, we knew, I knew that when I wanted to use it recreationally, there was nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. There were no people. I didn't know anyone else. Besides, I had one friend maybe, but I didn't know anyone else who really wanted to use it. And I thought, you know, if you enjoy having a glass of wine or a beer, you can go out to the clubs and you can always find new friends and enjoy it socially. What could you do with cannabis? Where could you go? So I decided to form this kind of a group, just finding like-minded people who enjoyed it, who might need it for medicinal reasons, and just, you know, to get together, to educate, to encourage each other for growing it, give each other tips on how to do it, maybe to even get an order together, to order seeds. So many reasons, but mainly it was to find like-minded folks.
Great.
And I made new friends.
Nice.
And I've enjoyed it.
Yes. Okay. So do you have a mission? I mean, I think you talked a little bit about it. Is there a definite mission that the group is trying to follow?
We have a couple of different missions. Mainly it's education. It's to educate people on how to grow it and how to use it responsibly. It's to encourage people also, if they are interested in using this for medicinal purpose or for recreational, we will help them. We will introduce them to cannabis responsibly. So, and we have any other, to get together to have a place that we can enjoy our cannabis together in a social thing too.
Nice.
Sometimes. What else did we have for our missions? Miss anything?
Well, we had a couple of things that we actually wanted to accomplish. I mean, there's the whole idea of people being punished for using cannabis legally in the state. They can't have certain jobs. I mean, I know for the town drivers in town, they can't test positive for cannabis, and that's kind of ridiculous because if you smoke it once, it'll stay in your system for 30 days, and you know, alcohol is much more concerning.
In other words, a driver could have a hangover from indulging in the weekends,
and it's okay.
but that's all right.
Yeah.
But if you had cannabis in the weekend, no hangover, nothing, that's not all right according to the law. So there's a lot of myths out there, and I think we get together. We want to sort of promote cannabis, and we want to hold it up against alcohol and say, hey, there is another way to relax with friends and have a lot of fun
Yeah.
instead of alcohol all the time. So.
And even though it's legal in Massachusetts, it's not legally federally, so and the laws are pretty restrictive because, they're trying to just sort through how things are working, and it's going to take a little while to do that.
Yeah.
And so it hasn't created the benefits for like local farmers, or you really don't see the small mom and pop cannabis shops.
Right.
You see, larger corporations moving in,
Yes.
and that's who is opening the cannabis shops.
Right.
Yeah.
It has to do with our state, where we're doing it. It's like you have to have a lot of money to open an operation.
And
And-
just to apply.
Just to apply.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
people are applying and losing that thousands of dollars it took to apply because
Yeah.
they don't get accepted.
Yeah.
and it's like, there's a lot of myths, and if the myths were gone, I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
we're going to address those myths too.
yeah.
So you're talking about the dispensaries that have been going.
Yeah, actually, the thing is, the dispensaries are kind of great.
Yeah.
I mean, everything has changed. Marijuana is a completely different thing now, and there's 2 dispensaries in Clinton,
Yes.
and you know what you're going to get when you go there. I mean, everything's tested, and especially for the new enthusiast, a little bit of care needs to be taken when they first try it. And so there's some things I should know. And at the dispensary, they should get good guidance there. They are fully educated at the dispensaries to give you advice.
Right.
But you can actually have a kind of a bad experience if you take too much of it. If you're not used to it, you can feel kind of lousy, and
that's where we come in.
maybe even I know people who won't
Just
use
don't
it.
go to a dispensary knowing nothing and then eat a whole edible.
Yeah, there's a story
You might be
about
sorry.
there's a story about a New York Times.
Yeah.
I forget.
Maureen Dowd.
Yeah, it was Maureen. You're right. It was
who
Maureen
should have
Dowd.
known better.
She went to Colorado and ate 2 candy bars, and she put a big thing out the next day. And it was in the Times. Oh, this marijuana is a nightmare.
horrible.
It's a terror, and everybody just lauged.
Not everybody laughed,
well,
but a lot of people
It
did.
said they did, and because she was just not really laughed, but
Yeah, but it's
It just takes a couple of negative opinions from very well-known people
yeah.
to cause a lot of opinions to change, form a lot of opinions that are wrong in people.
Yeah.
They jump to conclusions. For instance, with vaping, that's another subject where I've been told, don't vape. But they don't understand that there's different ways to vape, and the only way that I do is just with the flower, with the dried herb in there, and you're vaping it. There's nothing added, no additives.
Hot air is drawn through the plant itself,
The moisture in the hot air.
and the oils from the plant absorbed into the heat, and it comes out a vapor.
But
Very
vape,
safe.
you think because of the cigarette vape, you think that it's got these additives and things in it, and some of it does.
Yeah.
But if you own some a vape that only takes the flower in it, it's not a dangerous vape.
Yeah.
Right.
So people don't say, they say, you're vaping? Ooh, that's horrible for you.
There's a lot of unknowns.
Yes,
Because
yes.
people flavor cannabis with different things,
Mm-hmm.
or they make it easier to ignite, and you really don't know. No one's testing that. So,
Well, people have, like in California, that's the kind of stuff they really keep watching out for, and I think that everybody is a little bit.
yeah, but I think initially
Yeah,
it was off the radar.
I know.
So they
yeah.
couldn't, it's not intentional.
But as far as a safe product,
Yep.
we're there now.
We're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Do you think the perception of cannabis has changed through the years from back in the 70s?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. It used
It's
to
really
be,
vilified.
it used to be a
Before.
very hidden thing.
So it's more acceptable. Is our culture accepting it more?
You
It's
know,
more acceptable.
It's more acceptable,
But
but
we have a way
it
to
seems
go.
like it always has been really accepted. But that's just because, well, John and I have known each other since 1970,
Yeah.
so it seems acceptable.
Yeah.
But
in your circle.
yeah,
To
that's
your
the thing.
circle,
But you go outside your circle and you find a lot of, empty looks after you,
Yeah,
and changing the subject very quickly when you
Yeah.
mention cannabis. So no, I don't think it's
and that's
as
still
acceptable as
happening
I
a
would
little
like
bit.
to see.
Yeah, that's this changing the subject is still happening a
Yeah,
little
and
bit.
I just figure that a lot of people think if you do this, that's all you do. And no, you can be a productive member of society, have a lot of varied interests, and still enjoy cannabis. And I'd like that message to get out.
Yeah,
So is that one of the myths that people, if
Yeah,
you smoke
they sit around all day.
right,
They sit
And-
around.
And do nothing else.
and yeah,
They can't do anything because they're in a stupor.
right.
And it's just not.
there's a lot of lingo out there that like there's one
Negative
thing that's
lingo.
there's a situation that's kind of and like I've even seen it at the dispensaries where they say this could cause couch lock, and there's these ideas that you smoke pot and you're just going to sit there all day and stuff like that, and sometimes maybe that's what you're looking for.
And at the end of the day,
But it's not.
that's what I'm looking
Yeah,
for.
and the
At
thing
very
is, you
end
just
of the
have to
day.
know how to be responsible with your life, and I think we all pretty much want to attain that.
Yes.
And this is something
balance.
that
A
can't really
balance,
be.
yeah.
This is something that really can't be abused. Almost, I don't know. Can cannabis be abused?
If that's all you did,
Yeah, but if that's all you did, but
it would be.
if I
But you
suppose.
cannot die of an overdose.
No, that's the one thing. Nobody has
Possible,
ever
but
died from
alcohol,
marijuana.
You definitely can.
Yeah.
Yes, you might throw up,
Yeah, you might
but you'll be
pass out.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's,
Any other myths that people might have?
Well, the vocabulary, like
Yeah.
Chris had mentioned,
Yeah.
stoned. That's pretty negative. If
Yeah.
you think of the other stoned,
Yeah, Saint
that's
Stephen.
not very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Stoned is a bad one. Pothead. So if you enjoy cannabis, I prefer cannabis connoisseur.
Yeah, totally.
Totally, because otherwise it's pothead or stoner.
yeah.
And then the expression's burned out. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty negative too.
And it's a lot of the negativity about the whole drugs has had to do with the drug war in the 60s and 70s, and there was so much, nobody really knew what was going on, so much ignorance, and also a lot of innocence too, and people would say, okay, let's try that heroin, and I mean, normally, if the knowledge was there back then, I don't think a lot of that would have happened, but because of marijuana is bad, and so we all go, oh yeah, right, and then so's heroin, and we go, oh sure, I'll bet you it is, and people would just not believe anything, and we kind of got alienated, and I think that's kind of what happened. We became these little groups
Makes
that
you a
people
little
could,
cynical
yeah,
of what to believe.
yeah,
Okay.
And another
Go
myth
ahead.
that you have is that if you're taking or you're using this, it's only to get high. And this is absolutely not true, because we have people, I have two people in our cannabis conversation group who only take this medicinally. They are not getting high whatsoever, but they're using the plant for the CBD in it,
Right.
and not the THC, which is the
psychoactive.
psychoactive element in it, only the CBD. And they're making tinctures, putting them under the tongue, using it for the aches and pains. So another myth
Yeah.
dispelled.
Yeah. Just my own experience, and this was my doctor recommending that to take CBD for pain,
Yeah.
and I've been doing that, and it works. It really, I have fibromyalgia, and it really helps.
I'm wondering, does it even have a calming effect? I felt like a calming effect with pure CBD. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I felt it like affect me
Yeah, I think maybe it
a little bit.
does a little bit, but I felt a difference taking it
Yeah.
with my own aches and pains, and so the CBD piece of it, I think is great, and you don't get high at all.
Right.
It's purely for your inflammation in
Yeah.
your body and whatnot.
And possibly addressing fibromyalgia, it would be like taking it just a little bit and just getting that different outlook on it and being more comfortable. But you can do that on your own. I mean, that's how people learn to live with things. This is maybe, it's medicine. You can think of it that
Right.
way. And medicine is always a step behind attaining that with your own health, with your own eating, your own lifestyle.
Right. Yeah.
And this is always catching up with something that already should be happening, maybe.
True.
Like John, John had a terrible case of Lyme disease, and he really got a lot of benefit from it.
It has helped you.
Oh yeah, because you have so many symptoms from Lyme disease,
Sure.
and no two people seem to have the same amount of. They all have different symptoms,
Right.
so it's really helped with nerve pain
Yes.
and joint pain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have, arthritis, but I have something that approximates
Sure.
arthritis
Yeah.
in all my joints, and some of it get pretty bad. And it was one of the few things I could really do at night, or even every couple days, and it would help out. And I was able to have a full-time job, care for people, and it didn't seem to affect doing any of the tasks that I had to do, and it was just something I did at night.
Right.
And but it's made a big difference in my life.
Yeah.
I think that it just reacts differently with different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't really say because something worked for you that it's going to work for the other person.
Right.
For instance, one of the reasons I started growing it was because I suffered from migraines.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't get as many anymore, but it didn't seem what I had for my cannabis and took didn't really seem to help with the migraines.
Okay.
But it would make me sleepy enough so that I could spend my time sleeping it
Right.
off,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
But I couldn't cure it with
Yeah.
migraines. And I heard, get it for migraine. But I didn't have any luck.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
like you said, it affects different people different ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you can
And,
try it, and if it helps, that's wonderful.
and different strains seem to be
Oh yeah.
That's
That's
what's
a whole
tricky.
nother
bred.
thing. It's
That's-
huge.
Yeah, that's
So
like the
different.
Tip, it's
Yeah.
the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
with the different strains of cannabis.
Different strains and different species. Not species, genuses? Is that what it would be? It's been a while since I've been in high school.
I don't know, Chris. We better not get too technical
You know,
here.
there's cannabis
Different variety.
sativa.
People
There's
go-
cannabis sativa and cannabis indica,
Yeah.
and they both have really different properties.
Okay.
The indica is more of a sedative type of thing. It's more calming. It's more body.
That's the kind I prefer.
Yeah.
And I take that in the evenings.
And the sativa is almost more energetic. It gives you can almost be more creative with it. I know my son was in California and in Silicon Valley. They're really into using the sativa plant because it's really helpful in the day. And some people actually have a bad effect with the sativa because it makes them paranoid. Their brain can get going so much they start having a paranoid feeling for it.
Especially if you take too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful.
But all these things are actually identified at the dispensary. If they're they actually know that this strain is identified as making people paranoid.
Right.
So you can look ahead of time a little bit and
Sure, and-
really hone your.
And it's not only what kind or what strain you take, but how much. Sometimes I think just a microdosing, just a hit or two.
Yeah.
And then you wait a few more hours. And just something that never makes you high,
Right.
but just microdosing a little bit. Find that sweet spot. And everyone's is different and they have to experiment.
That's really valid, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, we're all so different. Look, if you look at a prescription, look at the warnings on the package, everybody has a different
Sure.
reaction
Different
to
weights.
everything.
You're a different weight. I mean,
And a lot of prescription drugs, you're kind of limited. There's one pill, there's one capsule.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
with cannabis, you can kind of tailor it to the person.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can do a little research and
It's
find out
almost
what
like one big
strains
experiment.
may help you.
Yeah.
And you can keep a log and even, really know exactly how things react and what strains to stay away from. So
Yeah.
that's or what things you can actually grow in this state.
And what you
In
can
the-
grow according
Well,
to
no, it's because of the weather.
Weather,
There's some
right.
plants that are better than others.
Right.
Yeah, because Massachusetts gets a lot of different types of weather.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, if you went to a farmer and you said, well, what tomatoes do you grow? Well, they're not going to grow something they're not going to make any money on because they've had a crop failure. So they grow certain types,
Right.
and year by year they find out what they can grow. And
We can
don't
get
have
we have a
that.
mold problem here, possibly. That's one of the things we have to
Mold,
watch
yes.
out for.
Yeah.
but it's sort of like growing tomatoes.
Yeah, there's all kinds of.
It's
That's
very
what.
similar. The
Yeah.
plant
That's one
goes
of-
in about the same time as tomatoes,
Is it?
and it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you'll have your
similar.
favorite tomato. You'll have your favorite cannabis.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the great things about this group. For one thing, the friendship we've had a lot. How long have we been doing this? This is almost 2 years, maybe. Is it
It's more than
more
that.
than 2 years?
You forgot about the COVID pandemic.
Oh, the
Chris.
COVID. Oh, that's
We've
right.
been
Yeah.
doing this for about, I think, 3 years.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've been helped so much. Just on the friendship level, but with growing and stuff, and not knowing what's going on. And these guys are just
Also, another goal is sharing. We share
Yeah.
our harvest a little
Yeah.
bit. So you can have, you might grow 3 things and he grows
Try 'em
3
out,
different
yeah.
ones. And you have this nice collection.
Yeah.
It's, it all falls under
ones.
the state regulation.
Sure.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
Yeah.
and
Excellent.
so you do have a guideline to go by. It's not like you're reinventing the wheel.
Right.
Yeah.
You have that guideline to
You
tell
have that
you what
guideline.
how much you can have, and
Yeah.
How much you can give away.
yep,
If you
And-
decide to grow, how much you can grow.
how much you can grow at your home,
Yeah.
personal use.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
We had the police chief come by our first meeting and really give us a pat on the back and said, "I'm with you." He said, "Don't worry about us."
Good.
Yeah, we were a tad intimidated.
Yeah.
About the 70s. There's a cop sitting there. It was a very strange feeling.
Oh, so you guys consider yourself farmers?
First off, yes,
Okay.
I do.
That's one of the great things.
Gardener. I don't
Gardener.
have animals.
I
Just
haven't
we-
been.
yeah.
I haven't been that, but with cannabis, it's such a great thing to be able to grow this and have it that you grew it, and
Right.
the money that's saved by growing it yourself is
Oh, yeah.
intense.
And John,
And
he's an awesome farmer.
John,
He's been
yeah,
farming
John is.
forever.
He's like regular
well.
Tom Bombadil or something. I don't know.
But it's gardening.
just looks like Tom
It's like
Bombadil.
anything else.
Mr. Green Jeans.
If you're a gardener, it's what gets you up in the spring, and
Sure.
just
Oh,
Yeah.
because it's what you do and what you enjoy.
And that's the thing. Not everybody's like that. I'm not like that, and I've just depended on you guys so much. I've had 2 successful crops,
yeah,
and it's been totally
Nice.
because of you guys. So
and there's a lot of, and gardeners love to share information too.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
whether you want to hear it or not.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So it's
Okay.
Yeah.
How many folks are in the group altogether?
Would you say?
Only 7?
Well, how about if everybody who's kind of come and who's given interest?
9 or
We
something.
might even like 12 if you really think
Oh,
about
yeah.
it, because we've had a lot of people who just come once and they've acted like they were going to keep coming, but they just haven't come back.
True.
We're not really that established yet.
We don't have a Facebook page.
We're too old for that. I
We may
think.
not have a
Yeah,
Facebook.
we
page.
might.
Too old for a Facebook?
You might
So
look on the
we're not
telephone poles around our house, look for
Technically
notes.
inclined. Yeah.
But no, we've got to try for this, and we have a meeting at at the senior center once a month,
Lancaster.
where we hang
Senior
around and talk about different things. We're trying to be more professional and everything. We're going to attain something really good here. But then we also try to, over the winter we fell off, but we try to also get together once a month around a fire pit in somebody's yard. So
Weather permitting.
weather permitting, yeah.
And
But
that's when we get to enjoy.
yeah, and we really have had some great evenings sitting around and chatting
Yeah.
and Yeah.
Especially over the last 2 years, because you really don't
The
see
COVID.
too many people unless
Yeah.
you're pretty tight with them and really trust
Right.
them.
that's the other thing. Through COVID, I can't imagine what would it have been like if I didn't have this as a resource,
Sure.
cannabis. It
Yeah.
really is
Sure,
healthy.
it's a support group.
I
to
think
help
we
you
all
Yeah.
can
through.
agree we used much more cannabis during the pandemic.
And we're all the better for it. I mean, and look at all the alcohol. I guess that's a real concern in the health,
Oh, yeah.
general health of the public. The
Right.
amount of alcohol that's been used. Although not to put it down, it's
No,
all I'm all for it.
Yeah, but it
But-
was.
But there's other alternatives.
Sure.
Yeah, and
And that's what you just want people to know. That,
Just to know, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's other alternatives to
Sure.
alcohol,
Yeah.
and you can do this in a safe way and a healthy way. So, all right. So you mentioned your meetings are at the senior center in Lancaster, at the community center. Do you have particular days and times that
They
you
do vary for the
Okay.
days and times, so it's not one clear thing. It was usually a Thursday night, then it got to be Wednesday, and then so it depends on the group. And when we're there, we kind of decide on the next date. So whoever's at one meeting kind of votes on.
yeah.
Right, but the thing is, once we get more established, that's what I meant. We're not that professional
No.
as it could be when
No.
we get together and have a group
But there's
and
been-
have order to the meeting.
But
I
there's
mean,
been
Yeah.
notices in like the
the
newsletter.
Yeah, the crier, community crier.
Crier.
I'm just curious because obviously you would like some more people to come to your groups and learn more and participate. So
More the merrier.
what's the best way to kind of keep track? By the
Well, they can contact the
Senior Center.
Lancaster Senior Center,
Okay.
Lancaster Community Center.
And
call
Alex
them.
is fully aware of us and supports us and keeps
She's
us
very
going.
supportive.
Yeah,
of
and
our
she
meetings.
has, and everybody there should be aware of when they're going to be and how to get in touch with any of us.
okay, all right.
But I don't think any of us have Instagrams or any of that stuff.
No, I don't.
I don't
know what
even know
that
what Instagram is. I just know I don't have it.
But, but
Okay,
there-
so
True.
if people want to find out more about you, just call the center.
is. Someone will get in touch with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Sure.
someone will get one
Contact them.
of you folks or someone will contact them and let them know when the next meeting is, and everyone is welcome to join the meetings and to see what's up. And this was fascinating, guys. I really, really
Thank you.
appreciate you coming on the show and
Thank you, Denise.
talking about it, and making it not so scary maybe. And it seems to me more and more people are involved in this, and going to dispensaries and growing their own, and it's important because it's a healthy thing to do because it's helping us with a lot of things that are going on with our bodies and stuff. So I want to thank you again for coming on Journeys.
Very welcome.
And I'm going to say bye for now and hope to see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks.